Hello gamers, this is Sai, and welcome back to Which Way Games. What lurks in the darkest depths of the ocean? And with that being said, let's get on with the video. Before I start, I just want to say thank you to SegaFan27 for sending me some artwork for the channel. I really do appreciate the effort and hard work you put into this for me. Anyway, the 16-bit era of gaming is classed by some gamers as the golden age of video games, although the 8-bit era has some classics of its own. Some of these icons of 8-bit gaming evolved into the 16-bit era with all new gameplay styles as well as developing different game genres, such as the original Zelda for the NES, which had gamers playing as a silent protagonist known as Link, exploring a vast world with dungeons and plenty of enemies to deal with, all while trying to piece together the Triforce and saving Princess Zelda. After Zelda 2, the sequel to the original 1986 original, Zelda then went on to have that 16-bit Super Nintendo classic known as Zelda: A Link to the Past. Still being played to this day, A Link to the Past had tighter control scheme, improved graphics, and a story that drew the gamer in, very much like Chrono Trigger. Coming back to the golden age of gaming, gamers had the likes of Golden Axe, Earthworm Jim, and my personal favourite, Sonic the Hedgehog to play. Now, for years within the video game industry was a game rumoured to exist that would have turned the tides of adventure games and create a whole new wave of gaming icons. The game was Ecco the Dolphin and eventually found its home exclusively on the Sega Mega Drive. A game that would truly put gamers to the test to see if they had what it took to beat the game. Now, a lot of gamers and non-gamers will agree with me here, dolphins are simply amazing. Not only are they intelligent, but they also seem to have that happy-go-lucky and carefree attitude. Seems like a perfect choice for gaming character, and who knows what they get up to when we're not looking. Developer Ed Annunziata had the idea of using dolphins as a main theme of his then untitled game, being inspired by the works of scientist John C. Lilly. John C. Lilly was a scientist who wanted to see if dolphins could be taught to speak through their blowholes. With the help of a young woman called Margaret Howe, John C. Lilly managed to get the dolphins to speak or mimic various sounds, especially the dolphin named P. There is a BBC documentary that delves further into this. It does make for quite an interesting watch, especially the outcome of Pete, what happened to Margaret, and the overall downward spiral of John C. Lilly and his experiments with LSD. Anyway, Annunziata had to jump through a lot of hoops in the hope of getting his game approved. However, it wasn't until a year later that Sega gave him the chance to build a prototype due to the skepticism of his bosses. Annunziata then researched extensively as much as he could about dolphins and the deep blue world that they inhabited, and once the prototype was made, Annunziata demonstrated to the bosses of Sega and was finally given the green light to create Ecco the Dolphin. Taking more inspiration from the book called Sounding by Hank Sorelis, Annunziata learned more of the dolphin's ability of echolocation and came up with the idea of utilising this ability within the game. He thought perhaps gamers could gain access to hidden information as well as open new pathways using the secret language of dolphins. At the time, some video games on the Mega Drive were all about action and speed. However, Annunziata wanted to slow down the action slightly and create a living world that gamers could explore. Now, Annunziata could have gone the route of a typical action-adventure game, with a hero traversing a mystical land and uncovering the many mysteries within. However, the perfect place that is still a place of mystery is the depths of the ocean. In fact, we know more about the moon than we do about the very waters that cover Earth. Working with a small team of developers and talented artists for the Hungarian developer called Novatrade, Annunziata came up with the idea of time travel appearing in the game, as well as creating a sense of urgency for the main character when diving into the depths of the sea. This urgency can really be heard within Ecco the Dolphin's music, where Annunziata played songs from Pink Floyd to the music team to really illustrate the feeling of the game and also to create a sense of mystery and darkness, which I'll come back to. With plenty of talk about Ecco the Dolphin before it was even made into a game, gamers were happy when in late 1992, Ecco the Dolphin was released. And like always, let's go back to the past to see how Ecco the Dolphin was advertised.
Day 19. I am concerned about the crew. After all, Ecco the Dolphin is not just a game, it is an adventure. The graphics are surreal. They don't want to go into the sea anymore. 27 levels of danger, mystery, and beauty, all through the eyes of a dolphin. Simply brilliant. Thank goodness, my trusty skipper Pierre has no interest in this new game.
The story of Ecco the Dolphin sees Ecco swimming with his family in their peaceful home bay, free from the terrors that dwell deep within the ocean and beyond. Ecco is then challenged by one of the dolphins of his pod to see how high he can jump. Accepting this challenge, Ecco swims up with all his might and leaps out of the water, reaching high into the sky. While in the air, a vortex appears and sucks all the marine life out of the bay, including Ecco's pod. Landing back into the water, Ecco finds himself alone in the bay and is forced to leave the safety of the place he once called home in search for answers. Entering the wide open sea, Ecco encounters other dolphins and other pods who tell him that all marine life felt the vortex and now the ocean is in chaos. Ecco then learns from an orca that he must travel to the seas of the Arctic in search of Big Blue. Big Blue turns out to be a very large blue whale, revered among marine mammals for its age and wisdom, who spends his remaining years in the Arctic waters. Through his knowledge, Ecco learns that every 500 years, storms like the one he was in occur, and it's best that Ecco travels to seek the advice of the asteroid, known as the oldest creature on Earth, who perhaps can tell Ecco more. Leaving the Arctic seas and heading deeper into the unknown, Ecco comes across a deep cavern with the asteroid dwelling inside. The asteroid has the power to aid Ecco, however one of its orbs is missing and it must be returned, but the only way to do this is by travelling back into the past using a time machine built by the ancient and lost civilization of Atlantis. Traversing through the wild and dangerous ocean, Ecco eventually locates Atlantis and discovers the time machine, as well as an ancient library. Through this library, Ecco learns that the cause of the storm is due to an alien species known as the Vortex. With this knowledge, Ecco activates the time machine and travels 55 million years into the past. Gameplay for Ecco the Dolphin has gamers controlling Ecco from the get-go, without any cutscenes or even a menu system. The story will be revealed via the glyph crystals found within the levels. These would often offer advice for Ecco, sometimes as well as revealing the truth from past civilizations that are no longer around. Going back to the mystery and darkness I mentioned earlier, the music for Ecco the Dolphin created a sense of isolation, where gamers would connect with Ecco and care about the dangers he may come across in the deep blue sea. Most levels have gamers controlling Ecco through an underwater maze, where the task of finding and reaching the exit is not that easy. However, the use of Ecco's sonar ability will bring the map up for gamers to navigate. Ecco will need to surface from time to time due to being a mammal. This really did make gamers feel a sense of tension, especially when Ecco is close to drowning. There are many obstacles in the way, such as barrier glyphs, that won't allow Ecco to pass unless a means of having them removed is found. This could be puzzles that need to be solved, or other aquatic enemies that need to be stopped. Swimming can be made faster by tapping the action button on the controller, which is crucial from escaping the larger enemies. Ecco can fight back though by charging his attacks and hurting forward into the enemy, destroying them. If health is low, Ecco can replenish this by eating the small fish found near the surface. Ecco the Dolphin has 25 levels that will truly test gamers' abilities. Now, Anazutia had plans of making Ecco the Dolphin a game that gamers couldn't beat over a weekend when rented from the video game store. In fact, Ecco is considered to be the Dark Souls game for the Mega Drive. Some could say Anazutia and his development team went a little bit overboard with this, with the spiky difficulty settings, but with a lot of patience as well as skill, Ecco the Dolphin is such a fun game to play. Ecco was clearly something special, as it was featured in many gaming magazines, and it even had a sequel made, which I'll come back to in future videos. Coming back to the story, while in the past, Ecco comes across the asteroid. Forced into a battle, Ecco manages to dislodge one of the orbs of the asteroid, and this creates a time portal. Ecco is then flung back to the present with the globe, and then presents it to the present asteroid. The asteroid speaks of the alien race known as the Vortex, but Ecco is far too weak to face him in his current state. Ecco is then given new abilities, such as turning his sonar into a weapon, not having to surface for air, as well as increased strength and a healing ability. With these new abilities, the asteroid informs Ecco to travel back to the point before the storm to confront the Vortex. Using the time machine of Atlantis, Ecco is sent back to the past, where his pod is still within the bay. Once the storm happens, Ecco forces himself to be taken away with his family with the mission of facing the Vortex Queen. Now, Ecco the Dolphin certainly is a gorgeous game to look at, especially with its painted look. which isn't surprising considering the development team were clearly inspired by Czech illustrator Zinedek Buren and a lot of his artwork. Known as one of those games that some gamers either really loved or hated, Ecco the Dolphin certainly has a charm about it. In fact, I do remember a comic strip was made for Sonic the Comic, where fans of Ecco could learn more of his adventure and the troubles he would come face to face with. Ecco even went on to become a bestseller for the Mega Drive and even appears in plenty of Sega game compilations, allowing a new wave of gamers to experience Ecco the Dolphin. Now, new gamers could have that link with Ecco like I mentioned before, although I do wonder if another Ecco the Dolphin game will ever be made, especially the advancement of console gaming and PC gaming too. Anyway, come back next time when Turok the time-travelling warrior has stopped the evil campaigner from obtaining an artifact to rule the universe with. Thank you so much for watching, and see you next game.